morning, everyone. It's my great pleasure to be able to give you a very brief glimpse into who we are at Orla Mining, what assets we have, who's behind the company, and what our plans are for the future. As you see on this first slide, this is our mine that is about to begin production next month, and it's one of the 4 projects we have in our portfolio that I'll tell you about today. So probably more easily readable on our website, some forward-looking statements if you want to educate yourself. So the company was started on the thesis that if we put together good assets with good people, we can generate tremendous value for shareholders. So the company began with combining assets in Mexico and Panama. We have Oxide Project in Mexico, Oxide Project in Panama, Sulfide Project in Mexico, and a sulfide discovery in Panama. Those collection of assets are surrounded by over 170,000 hectares of good ground to explore on, and that was the start of the company, get the assets together. It was then added a bunch of supporters that I'm going to talk about, management and directors that are industry veterans at converting those resources into value, and I'm going to give you some insight as to the kind of value that we've created over the last 3 years. Starting right now. So we are number 8 of the entire Toronto Stock Exchange for share price performance over the last 3 years. That includes all companies, not just mining companies. And we have done that by converting those assets that I talked about into value by permitting, financing, constructing, and by next month producing from our first mine, advancing study work on our other projects, the sulfides in Mexico, the oxides in Panama, and so on. We have gained a reputation for delivery, and our share price performance has been a benefactor of that. Here's who's doing all of the work. Management team led by myself. I'm Jason Simpson. I'm the President, CEO, and Director of Orla, mining engineer, 25 years in the business, worked for companies like Vale, Torex Gold, and now Orla. Etienne is our CFO from Gold Corp. Andrew is the COO metallurgist from the technical aspect, comes to us from Alamos and Orico. Sylvain comes to us from Barrick and McEwen. He is our mine finder. So as a mining company, we need to find, build, and operate mines, and we think we have the management team that can do those 3 things very well. We are guided by a pretty enviable board of directors that I won't introduce everyone, but many of whom are known to mining audiences around the world. Directors of Kinross, directors of Eldorado, former Gold Corp CEOs, current chairman of Eldorado, and so on. In terms of our shareholders and who supports the company, we have big mining companies, important individuals, and a host of institutional investors that we're quite proud of. The 2 mining companies in our name are Newmont and Agnico Eagle. Newmont's primary interest in Orla is around our sulfide, 8 million ounces of sulfide, 50 kilometers away from their Penasquito facility in Mexico. Agnico's initial interest in Orla started with Panama and the prospect for copper gold in that nation. I'll talk to you a bit about that. We, of course, also have Pierre Lassonde as a great champion for the company and was part of the collection of the assets at the outset. The rest of the institutions on there are well known in our industry, and we're very lucky to have them as shareholders. As I pointed out on the share price performance, our market cap is about $1.3 billion, up over 400% over the last 3 years. We have 8 analysts that cover us, financial institutions that recognized early on that Orla wouldn't be a $200 million market cap company for long. We're now $1.4 billion on our way to growing even further. Before I get into the assets, I want to talk about our philosophy on responsibility. We believe in delivering benefit. Okay? That benefit should be delivered to our shareholders. That benefit should be delivered to our employees and the communities where we operate, nations where we work. How do we deliver that benefit? Well, we deliver it by doing it what it is we do in a responsible way. So we maximize benefit both in salaries to our employees, support of communities, and returns for our investors, and we do it while minimizing our impact on the environments where we work. Let's start talking, give you a very quick insight in the last 5 minutes into the 4 assets that we have in our portfolio in 2 nations, Mexico and Panama. Let's start with the one we've been focused on over the last 3 years, our mine, Oxide Mine in Mexico. So this is a photograph of the site. We're in Zacatecas, Mexico. Zacatecas is a state in Mexico that has everything we need to build and operate our mine. We're 3 kilometers off a paved highway, have sufficient water for the life of mine, production, access to employees, supplies, services, and so on. We also happen to be 50 kilometers away from our largest shareholder, Penasquito, owned by Newmont. This is the mine that we have financed, permitted, and built. It'll be producing gold starting next month. It has an annual production rate of over 115,000 ounces a year for the first 5 years, and a life of mine production rate annually of about 100,000 ounces. The important thing is it's an open pit, low strip ratio heap leach, so it has an all-in sustaining cost of less than $600. So this, as a first mine, is a tremendous cash generator for the company, $100 million free cash flow after tax per year, and it was intentionally selected to be our first construction. There's some photographs on what it looks like. We are 96% constructed. We built it during the pandemic, and cyanide is being applied to the heap leach. We'll be pouring gold next month. Some photographs of that. So we have gone in less than 12 months through the steps of site preparation, earthworks, equipment assembly, and stacking and pouring. Underneath that first mine that we built is 8 million more ounces of gold. We are currently studying how we can extract those 8 million ounces of gold and what that optionality could potentially mean for Orla. We're looking at underground options and open pit options. We're looking at processing it on site or processing with our largest shareholder, Newmont. That study work is underway right now. One of the first pieces of work we needed to do to understand whether underground mining was a viable option was to determine if there are higher grade portions of this 8 million ounce deposit, and we published information earlier this year that indicates yes, that in fact there are 50 to 100 meters of 2 to 5 gram ton material within this large mineralized envelope. So all options continue to remain open. Finally, in Mexico, although we have not done so yet, we do intend to drill out some of the 160,000 hectares that we have surrounding this 10 million ounces. We think there's great prospects for more gold in Zacatecas, Mexico. In our second jurisdiction, Panama, really has a lot of similarities to Mexico. We have an oxide project that we can construct that has similar economics to the mine in Mexico. We can deliver for less than $600 combined all-in sustaining costs, over 200,000 ounces a year with this additional mine. Where is it? It's on the southern peninsula. The big mine in the country is Cobre Panama, which is on the north on the Caribbean side. We're in the south on the Pacific side. The Oxide Mine is 2 open pits, La Pava Quemeta, with a heap leach in the middle. Again, good infrastructure for everything we need to build and operate the mine. Here's what that mine can deliver, another $62 million a year in cash flow. And wrapping up in Panama, we have the Oxide Mine. We also have already discovered copper gold. Not a surprise to us. That's one of the reasons we picked up the asset. We will be releasing in the next few weeks how much copper gold we've already discovered in Panama. And next year, we will begin hunting for the source of the copper and gold in IP targets that we've identified on this slide, including what could potentially be the porphyry that has contributed to all of it. And I think I am almost about out of time, and I'll leave it open for any questions. We're happy with our performance in the last 3 years, and we look forward to building out the other 8 million ounces in our portfolio.